everyone.
Hi.
All right, so we're 2 minutes late.
We're 2 minutes late. It's my fault.
It's because Beth is doing her job.
I'm doing my job. Killing it today.
We do things other than Facebook Live, as hard as that is to believe.
Yeah, so I just taught a class, and then I had a history student grab me and was like, I need this 18th century newspaper through Island. I was like, okay, let's see if we can find it. And we did in like 2 minutes. So there we go. Okay, so totally not what we're talking about today, but like,
that's right.
But she's still a soft librarian. Okay.
So if you need that kind of help, go to Beth.
If you're a history student. We talked about science. I don't do it. So, yeah. And I look like a frazzled mess because I literally was just running through the library. Like,
she was
actively running.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Stephanie, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about good topics and bad topics.
So what makes a good topic and what makes a bad topic?
That's right.
This is a topic near and dear to my heart. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
It is, though. It is seriously near and dear to my heart.
It's a very important topic.
Yeah.
And it's a good topic.
And it's one that I think not just undergraduates struggle with, but
everybody struggles
with this topic. I mean, I even, to some extent, when doing my own research, I'm like, is this a feasible topic? You know what I mean? Like, is this really something I can do? And if so, how am I going to do it?
And I think it's normal, and it's in my notes for today, but we don't have to use them. But it's normal for a topic to change as you're doing your research.
I think it should, right? A little bit, yeah.
It should, yeah. But a lot of students feel like they're like locked
married
in.
And they need to settle down and have like 5 kids, buy a house, picket fence with their topic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So where do we want to start?
Well, should we do our usual?
Oh God.
Usual
yeah. I'm telling you, I'm so flabbergasted. It's like just okay. So my name is Beth and Stephanie, and I am the Arts and Humanities Librarian here at the Marx Library.
And I am Stephanie Eversard, and I am the Social Sciences Librarian here at the Marx Library.
Okay, and so, as usual, and so we should apologize first, because we have a winner from last week's Starbucks, gift card, but in our busyness,
we forgot
to post about it. So, because I think I was too busy posting, all the things we were putting in the comments, all the show notes, whatever. So, we will go back after this.
And we'll tell you who the winner is.
And leave it in circulation desk for you. So we apologize for that oversight.
But one of you is a winner.
Well, all of you are winners.
You're all winners. That's right.
Yeah. One of you is caffeinated winner. And then we will also do another one for today. Yes.
So comment,
ask questions about what makes a good or bad, or how to fix a bad topic.
Or how to figure out a topic.
I am my hair. Okay. Running through the library.
It's okay.
Okay. All right. So that's the pleasantries.
All right. So I guess we can get started.
Dive right in. Okay.
So what would you say? Should we?
Yeah, let's look at your notes.
Look at my notes. I also brought this handout that I used to give my English 102 students, but it might be a bit more complicated than what we want to get into.
Okay, so what do I want to talk about? What do we want to talk about? Just very briefly, some clear qualities of a bad topic.
Yes, I think that's a good place
to
start.
So clear quality number one for me that stands out all the time, which I see all the time, is a topic that can be answered in a yes or no question.
Yes, I agree.
A fact or a fact. So yes or no, or the answer is a fact.
Yeah, and that's coincidentally the first 2 things on here. Avoid yes or no topics. So you ask a question I don't know, can exercise help you lose weight?
I was about to say something about obesity.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's weird.
Brain. Hive mind. Is obesity unhealthy or bad for you? Yes. Yes, it is.
Cigarettes bad for your health.
Right. Or is steroid use good? First off, good is okay, so maybe that's the second thing. So first off, no, it's not good for you, and that's a yes or no question, but also it's a value question.
That's right. It's not a question that can be easily answered with research because it's going to be opinion-based or
bad, good.
Emotion-based, moral-based. Those are things that cannot be
proven, right? In any kind of way. So there's, is that one on there too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
We don't need the notes.
I
told you we wouldn't need
those notes.
You're just reading my mind.
Again, hive brain. So yes, no's, which would make for a very short paper.
Yeah.
Yes. smoking is bad for you.
All right, you're done. Turn it in.
Turn it in. Hopefully you'll get a good grade.
You have a one-word paper.
Or people who smoke are bad.
Yeah.
Value, judgment. And, or, which I see a lot too, like things that can be answered with like a number or a fact.
Right, like how many incidents of lung cancer are there every year? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like you find the number and then that's the answer. Like,
then you're done.
you're done.
So you're really looking for, most of the time you're looking for a topic that you have to take a position on, that you have to argue. In other words, it's usually going to be something that somebody might disagree with. Or,
so let's take a topic we were just talking about. So something like, what were we saying? Something like obesity, right?
Okay.
What could be an argumentative topic related to obesity? So not something like obesity is bad for you.
Right.
Again, kind of that value, whatever. But like,
maybe you could look at whether or not physical education initiatives in schools help reduce obesity.
I was thinking school lunches, but
Yeah.
So same thing. Is the school lunch program working to reduce childhood obesity or
Right.
whatever, right? That's a question that you can
do research on.
make a state, like an argument,
Right, and it's going to take,
fact-based argument.
it's going to take a lot more time, but that's what makes it a good topic. Well, I mean, well, the truth, that's the truth.
It's true. And that's what makes it
Interesting.
and worthy of a grade.
Worthy of investigating.
Yeah, but also like worthy of the effort too, right?
I mean, think about it. If you're going to spend all this time writing a paper, don't you want to write a paper about something that
Matters.
Yeah, you don't want to just like, recycle these facts. You want to actually put together an argument.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's see. We talked about yes or no topics, and those are actually more common than you would
Oh my
think.
god, yeah. I mean, we made some obviously kind of obvious examples, but they are
They're
rampant.
very rampant, and I think sometimes students don't realize it's a yes or no question until they frame it as a question, and that's
So that's a good strategy.
Yeah, that's one thing I recommend students do is take their topic and ask it as a question, because do we just get an angry face?
No, I think we got a happy face. Somebody liked our framing it as a question.
Good. Yeah, so if you frame it as a question, then it's a little bit easier to figure out what you're trying to say, and you'll be able to recognize if it's yes or no.
It's a yes or no. So yeah. Okay. What's the next thing on your sheet?
Well, the next thing was to talk about questions that could be answered with a simple fact.
Oh, okay. So like we talked about. So like there are this many drunk driving incidents.
Right. And that also kind of bleeds into those kind of straightforward factual papers, even if it's not a single fact, like something like, what are the symptoms of diabetes?
Oh, right. Ooh, snooze too.
Yeah. So not only is that really boring, it's going to be a very bad topic.
It's a book report.
It's a book report, right. And most of the time, what your professors are looking for are going to be arguments. They're looking for where you are trying to defend a position. If you say, here are the symptoms of diabetes, there's nothing.
Who's going to oppose you?
No one's going to argue with you.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
What's the next one?
The next one is don't ask questions that cannot be answered with research at all. So that includes those kind of value-based
questions.
So the example I put on here, and I've actually had students try to write these kinds of papers. The example is, what is the best science fiction movie ever made? I had a student who tried to argue
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
And do you have research to support that?
Yes. No.
It is a great one.
Yeah.
But you really cannot support that with research because that's going to be opinion based.
No, and what kind of research would they poll people? I mean,
right.
And even then, you have to qualify that research with like based on this poll.
And you'd have to come up with a set of criteria, but then they'd just be your criteria.
Boo.
And it's not.
Yeah. I mean, the other ones too that are tricky, which I don't even know if we should do this, but like the
right.
Those kind of ones, like religious-based questions are always a little bit tricky to kind of prove the existence or non-existence of something, right?
And those are okay for certain contexts, like a philosophy
class.
Yeah, but when
they're all over that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like literally all over it.
That's kind of their
That's kind of their jam. So philosophers out there, I'll let you have that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're writing this for an English 102 paper,
or any kind of paper where your professors told you have to have peer-reviewed, fact-based research,
yeah,
then you're not going to find research. In fact, I think that it would make a scientist's career, it would change
Oh my God, it would change
the course of humanity.
Human history.
If somebody found, if they found verifiable evidence.
Yeah, things would change.
Things would change.
Things would change.
You know, I had a student a few years ago try to write a paper proving the existence of extraterrestrials.
Right. Okay, that's a better example. That's
Yeah.
a really, no, that's not going to happen. And again, that kind of leads into what I was thinking. Conspiracy theory papers
Yes.
are often, just stay away from them.
And
Again,
it
that's that same thing. It's almost next to impossible to prove with fact-based research.
Right. You're not going to find reliable sources for these
Because the
kinds of
government
ideas.
is controlling climate.
Right.
Just not.
So if you
going to.
cannot defend the argument with research, it is a bad topic.
Bad topic.
Bad topic.
Yeah. Great for like late night dinner party conversation.
Yeah.
Probably not awesome for your paper.
Nope. And again, with the morality-based ones, not just religion, but kind of issues surrounding different value sets. Like the example I have here, is eating meat wrong because it's murder?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
It's tricky because what is murder? How do we know if animals are being murdered?
Sentient beings.
Right.
That's a really good one.
So if you wanted to write about either of those topics, though, like if you wanted to write about not eating meat, vegetarianism, veganism, you could write like, how can vegetarianism reduce negative impact on the environment?
Yeah.
Or how could it reduce the number of animals that are slaughtered every year?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or you could even take like a medical approach, like does a vegan diet reduce cholesterol?
Right.
Right?
Or is a vegan diet a healthier alternative to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just one that you can...
Yes or no.
Yeah.
But like, in what ways, right?
Right,
And
in what ways.
Yeah. Okay. Good one.
So again, you want to avoid morality issues because you can't really prove morals with research.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue that comes up with a lot of the really popular topics, like
Well, and a lot of the current kind of controversial
Right.
issue topics, right? Because a lot of them tend to be morally
yes,
based arguments or
like
questions, right?
issues around stem cell research, capital punishment, abortion.
Gun control.
Yeah.
Gun control is such a bad topic anyway.
Yeah, we have a set of topics that we have seen a million zillion times. There's a number higher than zillion. We have seen.
A Google.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen them. We have seen them so many times, and they tend to be bad topics for that reason.
Well, and the next thing, and that kind of leads me into that, maybe this is on your list too, is that they tend to be bad topics, not because they're inherently bad topics, but because they're such broad
Yes.
topics. And I think, like, broad is not better.
Right.
Better doesn't equal bigger, right? Bigger is not always good.
Yeah.
Actually, bigger is often more problematic than smaller. Bigger is not better. Look at her. Bigger is not better.
No, it's not. And students think that it is.
They think it'll be easier, right? Like
Right.
the research will be easier if I make it as big and as broad as possible. That way I can just cast this giant net and then everything will come like
And then
into
I'll have
me and I'll have
the
all of
things
this stuff
to choose
and I can
from.
pick and choose from.
And it'll be so easy.
And in reality,
It's a nightmare.
drowning in stuff.
Yes.
And you're often drowning in stuff that isn't related to each other in any way.
Right, because if you just have a really big, broad topic, you're going to have all kinds of things that are just kind of related.
So gun control, for
Yeah.
example, right? A huge topic, but there's all sorts of like smaller topics within the issue of gun control. So there's like law and legislation related to gun control, and even beyond that, like, you know, law and legislation is related to high caliber.
Right.
I mean, there's all
Just
sorts
certain
of small,
demographics, like people under the age of 21.
right? Or guns on campus, or open carry. I mean, there's all sorts of issues within this larger issue
Mhm.
of gun control. And so if we just cast this giant net of gun control,
You're going to have more than you could possibly handle. And you're not going to be able to turn it into anything.
no, because you've got everything,
Yeah.
everything and nothing.
So the more specific you can be, the better. In fact, I tell students it's almost hard to be too specific.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would agree.
It happens occasionally, but not very often.
And those are all the reason it happens is not due to specificity. It's probably due to like a odd question to start with.
Right.
Like it's not the specificity isn't the problem.
Right.
It's something else. It could be like political reasons why that research isn't done or something, but it's not usually specificity that's
So
the
let's
problem.
backtrack and say there's no way to be too specific.
And we dare you.
Yeah, that's right. Come up with a topic.
The librarian's like, that is way too specific of a topic.
Nope.
I mean, I can't tell you a million times I've said, like, that's way too broad of a topic. That's
Yeah.
way too broad. I've rarely ever said, I don't think I can ever think of a time when I said, like, that is too specific.
No, I can't think of a time either.
Congratulations, you have broken the librarian that is too specific. Too specific. So
One of my favorite topics ever was when a student told me that she wanted to write about how racism impacts everyone in the world. That was her topic.
It's so sweet.
It's an important topic.
It's an important one that needs to be discussed, but like,
Way too broad.
are we talking about the Urdu and the? I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
Like, yeesh.
So the more specific, the better. And that's where asking that
I
question.
mean,
can be
Lauren,
really
you can
handy.
even get specific to like, how does racism impact housing in Mobile?
Right. You
Right.
could
I
be
mean,
that
like
specific.
that specific.
And that's still not too
And
specific.
that's still not overly specific.
I mean, I had a student who was looking at crime in specific neighborhoods in Mobile.
Yeah.
And that was not too specific.
No, because the data's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, the times I think that it only gets too specific is if the data doesn't exist.
Right. And then it's not the topic's not the problem.
It's the data that's the problem. And in that case, crime data does exist.
right.
Even down to like what zip code?
Oh yeah.
I think
yeah.
so.
It's
Yeah.
pretty specific.
Well, yeah, that's your jam. You should know. Yeah,
Yeah.
you totally know that. You're like, yeah, it does to the zip code. And I'm like, I think maybe. I don't know. I kind of heard about it.
Finally, not
You're
so-
like, something I heard about it somewhere. I don't know. Like, and you're like, as a matter of fact, it does.
It's not physics, so I know it.
As a matter of fact, it does. Down to the zip code, Beth. Awesome. Social sciences.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's okay. I wouldn't have known where to find the.
that's why we have
Which-
different subject specialties,
whatchamething that
man.
you found.
Whatchamadoodles,
Yeah.
the Northern Star, an Irish paper from like 1790.
Pretty cool.
I wouldn't know where to crime find stats. I wouldn't know where to find. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't do a very good job. It would
Right.
take me a
Yeah, I
while.
could track it down, but not easily.
Not in 2 minutes.
Not in 2 minutes. No,
Right.
I would still be helping.
We
you
should
find
do
it.
that. We should do. Side note: this is a total tangent, but we should do like timed librarian drills. How fun would that be?
That would be fun.
Like you get something, you flip it over, and you're like, find this, and you have to
we
like.
did something like that in library school.
Did you
Since
really?
It was an online. Yeah, who can come back with the source of this
Oh,
information?
we didn't do game. We didn't gamify library school.
Yeah,
We should do that. That'd be really fun.
it might be fun for us.
I think maybe I'm overly confident, but I think students would think it'd be funny too.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I think we should
Come
do it.
back and push a button. You get your next
Okay, get traded out.
relay.
Okay.
Reference relay.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
We have just come up with a brand new awesome game, and I want to be on Stephanie's team. So,
All right.
okay.
So
So be on the lookout for that because that sounds uber fun to me.
all right. So
Tangent.
reference relay. Keep that in mind.
Keep it forthcoming.
Okay. So we were talking about how bigger is not better, and you want to make them more specific. You can do that with just about any topic.
Yeah, and so so what are some strategies? So we teach strategies for doing this in English 102, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones we always ask them is to ask them kind of those, like, you know, those who, what, where, when, why, and how questions.
Journalist questions.
Journalist questions.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, let's take a topic.
Okay.
I don't know. What's a good topic? Pollution.
Pollution. Okay.
I don't know. When it came out. So why do I pick science topics? But pollution.
Because
okay?
students are writing about science topics.
Oh, God, why? Okay. So,
All right.
Pollution.
So pollution. Okay.
so I guess the question, broad, way too big, right?
Way too big. Like, what are you going to write about pollution? Are you talking about pollution in the oceans? Are you talking about air pollution? Are you talking about the Industrial
Noise
Revolution?
pollution?
Yeah. What are you talking
Light pollution? What are we talking about? So, and the next question is, when are we talking
Yeah.
about, right? Are we talking about London circa 1950? Are we talking, or 1850? Are we talking about
now? Are we talking about like the Europe 2020 plan? Like, what are we talking about?
what are we talking about? So that's the what, the when,
Mm-hmm.
where,
Okay, so are we talking about it in China? In
India, in third world countries, or are we talking about
the
like
United States? And I mentioned Europe 2020. Are we talking about the EU?
right? So what are we talking? Because the world is way too big.
Yeah.
Right. And issues in China don't necessarily apply to issues in the U.S. Right. We have
Mhm.
a different set of potential problems and issues. Right. Like we're not just we have some oversight,
Yeah,
a little bit.
we have more oversight than China.
Right.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't. You can't. They don't, what am I trying to do?
You can't discuss them both at the same time.
Yes. Okay. That's what I was trying to
Unless you're writing, a series of large books.
A life's work.
A life's work, right?
Okay, so what, when, where, and the why and the how are a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we're thinking about water pollution.
Okay.
Like, but what kind of pollution, right? So let's, like, maybe, I don't know, groundwater pollution from fertilizers?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. So what groundwater pollution, like the why or the how would be for fertilizer use, right?
Right.
Like large agro industry fertilizer use. Okay. When, now, and in the US, right? Because I'm not interested in China. So how do we phrase that into like a question?
So we could look at how is the use of industrial fertilizer, if I can speak, fertilizer.
Yeah, it's a hard word.
Impacting
Aquifer pollution,
Yeah.
groundwater pollution, something like that.
Groundwater pollution.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good.
That's a good place to start, right?
And it's perfectly normal, as we say,
Most of us are like,
I cannot pronunciate today.
Pronunciate. I can't get my pronunciate right today. Okay.
So it's a good place to start. It's normal, like we were saying earlier, for it to change, because once you start digging into that research, you're going to see things that you find you really want to write about.
And it's going to get wordsmithed too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll know more about the topic. I mean, we picked a science topic
And
yet
just
again.
off the top of our heads, yeah.
Yet again, that we know nothing about. So,
I have one on here about Jane Austen. You want to?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, let's do that one. What's that topic?
Well, here's the thing about these two is I just made them up like an hour ago, sitting in my office, and they're not super great either.
Oh, good. Okay.
Which I think kind of demonstrates, because like the broad topic would be like Jane Austen and feminism.
Oh, way too big.
Way too big. Way too big.
Way too big.
So with something like literature, you can narrow it down to a specific text or even a specific character.
Ooh, like Elizabeth Bennet.
Yeah, and that's what I did here.
Look at that.
So that's weird. Okay, because I almost went with Northanger Abbey.
I was wondering if you were gonna do. I was thinking the Gothic novel.
Yeah.
What? We're sharing a brain, y'all.
And I changed my mind at the last minute. That's so weird. But I narrowed it down to how does Elizabeth Bennet challenge traditional gender roles? So I narrowed it down to a character, but I'm also not just looking at feminism. I'm looking specifically at traditional gender roles.
Nice.
So think about getting smaller, more specific.
Yeah, and that could even get smaller.
Oh yeah, we could make it smaller.
Yeah. Okay, but that's a totally manageable place to start your research, though. Otherwise, you would just kind of be drowning in like every reading of every critical interpretation of Pride and Prejudice since the 1970s.
Right. Well, I mean,
congratulations, you've now looked at every single critical interpretation.
If you started just with Jane Austen, you would be looking not just at Pride and Prejudice, but like everything ever written.
Yeah, and feminism too. But I'm just thinking like everything post 1970, you'd be drowning in. Good Lord. Too much.
So we have spent a lot of time on that, but that's important. That narrowing.
Yeah.
And if you narrow down and you have the thought, or you go to do your research and you realize, or you think there's nothing on your topic. I can't tell you how often I hear that.
Oh my God, there's nothing on my topic.
There's nothing on my topic.
There is something on your topic.
There's something on your topic.
You just haven't found the right word combination, keyword yet. And that's when you would call a handy dandy librarian.
That's right. We can help you with topics too. But if you feel like, if you've got a topic and you feel like there's nothing on it, you're wrong.
You're right.
I mean, it's true.
If you got to feel like you're wrong. Just letting you know you're wrong.
There's stuff on your topic.
There is stuff on your topic, for sure. Unless you have some of these other major problems where you're just looking for, and we should probably say too, this is one that another librarian, when we were talking about preparing for this, pointed out to us that you are not looking for the paper that is your paper.
You're right. You're not looking for your exact topic and thesis statement in the databases. You're not going to find that article, and you don't want to find that article.
No, and I'm going to call out my lit folks because they do this a lot, right? So like your example of Jane Austen and Elizabeth Bennet and challenging gender norms, right? They're going to want to find that exact paper, right, that says that thing. Which is tempting, right? But
what are you going to do with that? You can't just copy the whole thing.
Just copy it. It's boring.
And plagiarism.
Right. and plagiarism. But also, like, that's your work. That's your job, right? Is to make that argument. So you're just using those resources as a model or a framework or something, right? To start your own conversation. You're using those to enter into the conversation,
Right.
rather than like just be like, yep, they nailed it. Because again, that's that same like, well, if they already, yes.
So let's say you wanted to write something about groundwater pollution in Mobile,
Okay.
but you couldn't find an article exactly about that.
Broaden the context. Right. So like apply the larger argument about the Gulf of Mexico water pollution or inland bay pollution, right? I bet you could find an article about inland bay pollution somewhere, and Mobile Bay is an inland bay, right? So then we could then extrapolate that argument and apply it to our smaller.
And you could also look at the kinds of industries that we have and the kinds of pollution created by those industries in other contexts and build an argument from that. So you're thinking about, you're piecing together articles, research to make your own argument.
Patchwork, like a quilt of research.
It is a quilt. A luxurious, warm quilt of research.
And the librarians adjust our glasses.
I could use a luxurious.
I know, it's freezing in here. All right, so we are running up on 25 minutes.
Yep, I think we've held them hostage long enough.
I think we've covered everything too. So I think we should probably maybe leave with the idea that if you find yourself struggling with what you now have identified as a bad topic, get in touch with a librarian, right? I mean, we're really skilled at helping students better focus their topics, right? And then find resources that also can help focus a topic too.
Yes.
Because I find sometimes even if the student doesn't know a whole, and that's I think where a lot of the problems come from. If you're not well versed like in the topic or the conversation, right? It's difficult to narrow a topic if you know nothing about it, right? It's impossible. So why often encourage students to use the literature to help them narrow the topic? So that's something librarians can do too.
Yes,
is kind of point you in the right direction to go like, here's some stuff on the topic, read this, and then get back to me with what you actually want to write about.
We're also really, really good at helping you figure out what you want to learn about. That's one of the things we specifically learn how to do.
We learn how to help you learn.
Yeah, really. we know like all these tricks to help you articulate
secret questions.
Secret questions.
Librarians are tricking you into
mind manipulation.
We're like, tell us what you want to know.
But actually, we're pretty
adept at that, actually.
Yeah, at figuring out what it is you're actually trying to say. So if you have it in your mind, but it's all floaty and weird, nebulous being the proper term for floaty.
I like floaty and weird though.
We can help you nail it down.
We can help you make it not floaty and weird. Solid and awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. So things that we always end with. If you have not already liked the Marx Library Facebook page, please do right up there so that you can get all of the awesome content that Stephanie is always amazingly creating and putting it on Facebook for us all to see.
And you'll also get a notification before we go live.
Who wants to miss one of these?
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine. Although we have no questions today. We'll live. Okay, so
yeah, but that means
I get to keep that Starbucks gift card.
Wait a minute.
We'll split it. $2.50. Cheap drinks. Somebody's such a cheap date. Like not like that. Like
I'm not the one who said to split it.
We'll go. Just trying to be fair. Was that Solomon's baby? Cut the baby in half. Yeah. Cut that baby in half. Okay.
Your true character has been revealed.
As if I was hiding it. So
other social media. We are also on Instagram at marx.library.
And on Twitter at USA_library.
All right, so find us
along.
Follow us.
Yeah.
Follow us along.
What is it? Week
It's
9?
been one of those.
It's been one of those days, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Tuesday, and it's been one of those weeks.
Oh my God, I know, right? All right, guys. So we're signing off for this week. Join us next week at 2:00, and
for Halloween.
Oh my God!
It's finally.
How did I forget about it? It's finally Halloween.
It's finally. You have wanted it to be every week.
I'm so excited. I love Halloween, and we're dressing up, and the archivist from upstairs is going to be joining us talking about how she reads dead people.
We should probably remind her.
We should.
Yeah.
But she said she was, so she's stuck now.
She's stuck. She's locked in.
Yeah. So that'll be super fun. So if you want to see what amazing costuming we come up with, join us next week. Spooky.
It's gonna be so creepy. We probably should put like a PG-13 rating on it.
Not
No,
for work.
not really.
No.
All these are marked as kid-friendly, so we have to keep it that way.
Don't worry, we will. We're librarians.
It's kind of our thing. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye, guys!